Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Heike and you're watching Stone Cold Coffee Crafts, and this is the final part of my little diamond painting science project where I compare a square and a round painting in the same size, same image from the same seller to try and find out which of the two paintings actually looks more detailed. So this came along because I watched another diamond painter on YouTube, and she said that she was absolutely convinced that paintings in a smaller size look more detailed in rounds. And I heard that and I paused for a second because my brain went full stop. Because as I have mentioned in the previous two paint videos about this, round beads are actually the bigger of the two. So that means per square inch you have less beads. And as we all know from pictures, the less dots per inch, the less defined and sharp and detailed the image will be. So the theory actually has to be, well, not even reversed, because still in a bigger size the square painting would show more details, but I guess the bigger you go, the less you'll notice that the round painting actually has less details than the square one. So now that the cat has put herself absolutely in the spotlight here and is shedding all over the place, can I convince you to stay away from the painting? Thank you. Yeah, I completely lost my thought. So yeah, it didn't make any sense to me, so I decided to order a painting in what I consider a smaller size, and this means it's a 30 by 40 because I wanted to give the painting a chance, a fair chance to actually have some detail. But I didn't want to make it too big because the bigger, I firmly believe, the less you'll see the difference. And let's do these in order of completion. And I'm sorry, Kitty, but for that you have to leave the spotlight. I'm sorry, my dear. So the first painting I completed was the square painting, and that's this one. This painting had 33 colors, of course predominantly pink because it's a pink flower. And we had a lot of leftover drills for that one. Cat. These are the drills in my containers, and then we also have quite a few bags that I didn't open for the main colors. And yeah, I have to say, no panic at all if I could finish the painting with the beads I had. We have a trash tray, which also isn't too bad. As you can see, there were a few cavities, a few concave bags, a few drills that looked a bit chewed off. All in all, not too bad. And even though these drills are what I consider mediocre quality, because they have these awful, hated by myself, divots in the back and don't fit completely smooth together, these actually fit pretty good. They still have this bumpy feel. If you have one of for example, if you have an Ever moment, because these drills are top-notch quality as far as square drills go, and you complete this painting and you run your hand over the surface, it feels very smooth and uniform. And this is very, very knobbly. I've never touched a book for blind people with, oh, how do you pronounce that correctly without butchering it? Braille? the yeah, you know what I mean, the dotty way of painting books, so they can touch and feel with their fingers and read it like that. That feels like that, quite honestly, because you have little bumps in the road. That's because these drills aren't just uniform as far as their 2 by 2.5 by 2.5 size goes. They are also not the same height. But as far as these go, they fit pretty nicely. There's no tension anywhere. There's a bit of gapping. They don't snuggle up perfectly to each other. These drills never do, because they don't have the perfectly straight sides, so they always sit a little bit like that next to each other and create these little gaps. Sorry, my nose is itching like crazy. That's because of the cat. Yes, I'm allergic to my own pets. At least I'm not sneezing this time. Overall, I was pretty happy. And maybe I can even show you the difference, because there was one color of drills that fit perfectly smooth together, and that's this pink here. God, my lighting is awful, I'm sorry. So you can see how these actually snuggle up to each other and are completely pressed up to each other. There's no gapping between them. And these, for example, have gapping, or what looks like gapping. Here, this actually is not a gap. They are right next to each other, but you can really see the seam between them. And if the drills have the perfectly smooth sides, you won't be able to see that seam. There will still be gapping with drills that are perfect in size and shape, but that's another topic. It's just something that can't be avoided. So that's for how the drills fit. Cat, not eating drills, please. Kitty. For once, I would like to look a little bit prepared and professional on these videos. Lost my thought again. So, I think I was going to tell you that I think this has pretty good detail. Oh, God. Pretty good detail for 30 by 40. You can make out the image, and sorry, I have to pause for a moment. That was the sneeze I was talking about. I'm sorry about that. All right. So yeah, it looks pretty detailed as far as I am concerned. The shading in the blossoms is very good, and the petals is very good. And it actually looks pretty, even though you probably can't see in this horrible light because everything looks washed out and like a blue filter has been put over it. I'll see if I can change that during editing. I don't know. So far I haven't edited a whole lot. What else is there to say about this painting? It went pretty good. I enjoyed doing it. There weren't any major issues with the canvas. I would still wish that the drills had the perfect quality, but that's just my inner perfectionist. At least these didn't pop or create any tension. So far, so good. That is the square painting. Put these away. Put these away. And let's put these here, in the hopes I'm not going to knock them over. And now I'm getting the cold furry shoulder. Next comes the round. The round had even more leftover drills. Let's start with the very good stuff. These are the leftover drills I actually kitted up. As you can see, there's quite a bit of everything left over. And then I have a lot of unopened bags of the main pinks. So also, once again, no chance at all of running out. This is the trash tray. And I have to say, all the dark ones in there are actually strays from one of the colors. I don't know if they are really strays or if I once again had a color with two different dye lots in there, because these were much darker than the ones I put on the canvas. So I picked them out. But The rest of them, just like with the squares, a few cavities, a few concave backs, a bit of trash and a few chewed off beads, but nothing major. Can I show you? No, it's not going to show very well in this light, but the drills are super sparkly. I have to say that their round drills are really, really, really sparkly, very pretty. Especially the main pink color in this one is extremely sparkly, and I loved it. What I do not love so much is the fact that the circles, and I'm not sure if I can actually show this in this lighting, but the circles are printed so big that you can actually see them peeking out around the drills. I'm not sure if you see that, but I might add a photo in there. So you can see the circles. It's not as bad as with some other companies because these circles were very thin and not super black. But it's still something. It doesn't have to be that way. I mean, you saw in my whip and chat that this also meant I put every single drill down by itself. Some people like that, some people absolutely hate that, but it's the only way if you have these circles showing that you can at least put them as perfectly as possible to avoid them showing too much. Yeah, so that was the one thing that was a bit of a bummer. This painting only had, I think, 30 colors. I think it had 3 less, and it also had different colors. And the one thing that stood out for me while doing it is that they left out one of the pinks that was in the square. And it wasn't just a pink that was here and there a bit, it was a pink that was everywhere. They left out a complete shade, and I think this really shows. Let's show them side by side. Maybe you've already thought, I think I know which one is the more detailed, because it's very possible. But let's put them side by side, and I hope you can see them both. Yeah, I think we can. And I don't know about you, but it's crystal clear for me which one shows more detail. So I'm not covering up anything. This is actually perfectly aligned with the drills. I can probably slide them over a tiny little bit more. So, yeah, look at them and then tell me which one is the more detailed. Scream it at the camera. I'm going to say it right now, it's not the round one. The round one looks okay, but if you're looking for detail and shading in this size, you have to go for the square. And quite honestly, I don't know if it would have looked any better if they had put this color of pink here is the one that's missing in this painting. I don't know if it would have looked any better if they had put it in there. I guess it would have, because as you can see, for example, in this part, which is this part, how much that does actually for the shading. They put in more of the darker one here around. You can see that is only here in this painting. And yeah, it's just not, it's not as 3D as this one. And this is just one painting, but I think if you would repeat this with other paintings, and mind you stay in this size category because we are talking about small paintings, you would see the same thing. And I think that you will have at some point a comparison, because I know that Rachel Ray has ordered a couple of paintings to do this kind of comparison. She went even smaller and more detailed, though this should be even clearer than what I'm showing you. But as far as I'm concerned, smaller paintings looking more detailed in round beads, nope, they don't. And I don't know how they could, because once again, if you look at beads per square inch, 81. 81. That's 19 beads less. And I don't know how that is supposed to look more detailed, quite honestly. It doesn't mean, in my mind, that square beads are better than round beads. I just think if you want to do a painting in round, you probably have to go a bit bigger than you would have in square. So for example, if I bought this in the next size, which would have probably been 50 by 40 or something like that, or 50 by 45, it probably would have shown a lot more detail than this and would have looked just fine. But if I wanted to stay in this size and not go any bigger, I would suggest go with square. You'll just get more out of it. I will say that the round looks a little, like I said in my unboxing, I think it was, a little fuzzier and softer than the square. But all in all, I have to give the victory to the square. It just looks more detailed, it looks more shaded, which of course is also because there's one more shade of pink in it. And I don't know why they left it out of it. I actually did intentionally buy the same painting from the same seller because I thought I would avoid things like that this way. But yep, that's what you get from computer-generated images, I guess. Yeah, so this is my first diamond painting signed experiment. I don't know how exciting it was, but I actually was curious and I was hoping to get this result, to be quite honest, because like I said, it just went against everything I know about pictures and DPI, that this should actually look better if it's smaller. It was just strange to me. So I think I've been able to get my point across, and I think I've been able to prove my theory here, which is that if you go smaller, square will give you more details. But of course, and you've always to remember that no matter if it's square or round, if the painting you choose is too detailed, it won't look good no matter what kind of beads. So I intentionally chose a big flower for that because something more intricate would not have shown good details in either bead. Smaller paintings like that usually work best for big flowers, maybe animal heads, or these eye paintings would work very well, or something comic-y that also should work if it's not too detailed. But don't go for photorealistic portraits or something like that. It probably won't look good unless you look at it from very, very far away. And yeah, I know you are not supposed to look at these paintings close up, but if you have to stand, I don't know, 5 meters away from your painting to actually recognize what it is, then you went too small. That's just me. So that's it for my first science experience. I don't know why I have so much trouble saying this, but anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this was interesting, and if you have any more ideas for things like this in the future, if you've heard theories that you would like to see proven or debunked, please let me know. Maybe it's something I would be interested in and would like to try out for you, who knows. And until then, I'm going to say goodbye. If you like this, leave me a thumbs up. Maybe even leave a comment below, even if you don't have any new ideas. I just love to read from you. Or you can also drop me an email. The address is in the information box below. And until then, enjoy whatever you're doing. Have a great day, a great week, whatever you are up to. And we will talk to each other very, very soon. Bye-bye.